In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NHL games happening on April 17, 2022. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets. As we provide these videos on a daily basis, I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NHL games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer anywhere from 2 betting picks a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. San Jose Sharks versus Minnesota Wild. The San Jose Sharks face the Minnesota Wild with both teams heading in opposite directions to close out the season. The Sharks have a 29-34-11 record with only one win in their last 10 games, while the Wild have a 46-22-6 record and have won 6 of their last 10 games. The Sharks hope to avoid finishing in last place in the Pacific Division, while the Wild look to finish the season with the second best record in the Central Division to improve their position in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Sharks are desperate to snap out of their losing skid and look to pull off the upset in the upcoming game. Minnesota has been excellent at home this season, going 26-7-2 at home, while the Sharks have lost 13 out of their last 15 road games. San Jose has allowed 3 goals or more in 13 out of their last 15 road games, while Minnesota has won 10 out of their last 12 home games, and they scored 3 goals or more in 11 out of their last 12 home games. Kirill Kaprizov has 12 goals and 7 assists in his last 15 home games. He leads the Wild with 91 points on the season, and he is top 10 in points in the league. San Jose scored 2 goals or less in 7 out of the last 10 games, and they rank 28th in goals per game and 27th in shots per game. Minnesota is the much better offensive team. Both of these teams will be entering this matchup on the second night of a back-to-back. The slight advantage would lie in the Wild getting to return to their home arena, while the Sharks will be traveling from Dallas. There is also a great advantage for Minnesota when it comes to the goaltender matchup. Wild goalie Cam Talbot was in net yesterday against the Blues, which means newly acquired and usual starter Marc-Andre Fleury should get the call on Sunday. On the flip side, San Jose has had to switch between Adin Hill and James Reimer all season. Neither of them have proven to be formidable starters, and San Jose's defensive metrics prove it. They're creeping close to the bottom 10 in the league in goals allowed per game with each game that passes. Minnesota has an elite trio that can exploit that poor goaltending. Kirill Kaprizov, Kevin Fiala, and Ryan Hartman have created some of the most explosive offense in the NHL. He may be just 24 years old, but Kaprizov is taking the league by storm. A comparison could be made to the Sharks trio of Timo Meier, Tomas Hertl, and Logan Couture. However, it would not be much of a comparison. Minnesota's trifecta has wildly higher numbers when it comes to both goals and total points. Both teams on the end of a back-to-back, but it's the San Jose Sharks who are watching the wheels fall off their wagon. The Sharks are piling up the losses, and they play their worst hockey by far on the road. The Minnesota Wild have been money-making machines at home this season, and they usually take care of business in the favorite role. They should have no issues taking advantage of the Sharks' sinking goaltending, so the Minnesota Wild money line is our full game side pick. San Jose has allowed 3 goals or more in 13 out of their last 15 road games. They rank 21st in goals against per game and 21st in shots against per game. The Wild rank 5th in goals per game and 11th in shots per game. Minnesota scored 3 goals or more in 11 out of their last 12 home games. Kirill Kaprizov has 12 goals and 7 assists in his last 15 home games. He leads the Wild with 91 points on the season, and he is top 10 in points in the league. Kaprizov has 1 point or more in 8 out of his last 10 games. Minnesota averages 3.8 goals per game over the last 10 games against San Jose. The Wild have been led by one of the best offenses in the NHL, and both offenses look to step up and find the back of the net throughout the game. The Sharks should find plenty of scoring chances against a Wild defense that allows 3.03 goals per game, with Timo Meier, Tomas Hertl, and the rest of the forward unit carrying the puck into the offensive zone and finding open shots on the wing. The Wild, who average 3.64 goals per game, should run up the score with Kirill Kaprizov, Ryan Hartman, Kevin Fiala, and the rest of the forward unit crashing the net on the odd man rush and creating open shots with great puck movement in the offensive zone to pick apart a Sharks defense that is allowing 3.16 goals per game. The Wild have been one of the highest goal-scoring teams throughout the season. They're comfortably in the top 5, averaging well over 3.5 goals per game. That average increases to over 4 goals per game on home ice. That should prove to be a terrible situation for the Sharks to swim into, as they allow well over 3 goals per game. Although Minnesota should cover the majority of the total, the Sharks do have goal scorers in their own right. Timo Meier had a 5-goal game earlier this year, and Tomas Hertl has been proving himself for his new contract by scoring 28 goals himself. San Jose should be able to slither a couple to the back of the net and leave the rest up to Minnesota. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. New York Islanders versus Toronto Maple Leafs. The New York Islanders hope to keep their playoff push alive as they face the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Islanders have a 35-30-9 record and have won 7 of their last 10 games, while the Maple Leafs have a 49-20-6 record and with 8 wins in their last 10 games are in second place in the Atlantic Division. The Islanders hope to continue to push for the wild card spot in the Eastern Conference, while the Maple Leafs look to improve their playoff position, and the upcoming game should be a great one as a result. Toronto has won 8 out of their last 10 home games, and they have scored 3 goals or more in 9 out of their last 10 home games. Austin Matthews has scored 10 goals and 5 assists in his last 10 home games. He leads Toronto with 101 points, and he is first in the league in goals, with 58 goals on the season. Mitchell Marner has 91 points in 65 games played. John Tavares has 72 points, and William Nylander has 71 points. Toronto has one of the best offenses in the league. The Islanders have scored 3 goals or less in 8 out of their last 10 road games, and they have lost 3 out of their last 5 road games. Toronto is 7-3 in their last 10 games against the Islanders, and the Leafs won both matchups this season. I get the case to be made for both sides in this one, but the Islanders are pretty much done and are starting to resign themselves to the reality of their fate. Toronto's in the postseason, and the likelihood they catch Florida for the division lead is slim, but Toronto's also finding the back of the net with a lot more consistency as of late, and I just think this is a game where Toronto takes it to New York and the Isles won't be able to keep pace. The Leafs are the better overall team, and they are red hot lately, so the Toronto Maple Leafs money line is our full game side pick. The Leafs scored 3 goals or more in 9 out of their last 10 home games. Austin Matthews scored 10 goals and 5 assists in his last 10 home games. He leads Toronto with 101 points, and he is first in the league in goals, with 58 goals on the season. Mitchell Marner has 91 points in 65 games played. John Tavares has 72 points, and William Nylander has 71 points. Toronto has a dynamic offense. The offense has been improving for the Isles lately. They scored 3 goals or more in 7 out of the last 10 games. Jack Campbell has struggled in the net at home lately for Toronto, posting a 3.28 goals agonist average and .889 save percentage in his last 10 home games. The Maple Leafs are led by a dominant offense, and both forward units look to step up and find the back of the net throughout the game. The Islanders look to build off a 3-goal game and create plenty of scoring chances against a Maple Leafs defense that allows 3.08 goals per game, with Brock Nelson, Anders Lee, and the rest of the forward unit carrying the puck into the offensive zone and generating shots on the net throughout the game. The Maple Leafs, who average 3.84 goals per game, should run up the score with Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, and the rest of the forward unit crashing the net on the rush and creating open shots with quick passes in the offensive zone. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Columbus Blue Jackets versus Anaheim Ducks. The Columbus Blue Jackets and Anaheim Ducks meet Sunday in NHL action at the Honda Center. The Columbus Blue Jackets look for a win after splitting their last 6 games. The Anaheim Ducks need a win after losing 5 of their last 6 games. The Ducks will finally be returning home after their 4-game East Coast road trip. While they had little to play for, they performed far above expectations. In their last 2 games, they forced the number 1 seed Panthers into overtime and the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champion Lightning into overtime 2 nights later. They were even beating Tampa the majority of that game until a game-tying goal late in the 3rd period. Anaheim seems to be fighting hard to send lifetime Duck Ryan Getzlaf into retirement on a high note. While the Ducks return home, the Blue Jackets will be on the second of a back-to-back on their West Coast road trip. They just played the Kings in Los Angeles last night, which bodes well for Anaheim. Columbus has been one of the worst goaltending teams this season and will now be with backup goalie Joonas Korpisalo. The Ducks may not be the most prolific goal-scoring team, but Korpisalo's terrible .877 save percentage should increase their numbers. The Jackets are allowing nearly 4 goals per game on the road, and it appears to only be getting worse. Anaheim should be able to use Trevor Zegras' flashy goals and Troy Terry's leadership to help get them past Columbus. The Columbus Blue Jackets are the better team, but they are on the road where they've struggled lately, and they almost never win on the end of back-to-backs. The Anaheim Ducks aren't a team you want to make a habit of backing in the favorite role, but they're at home here with the rest advantage. Also, the Ducks have had great success in the favorite role, so the Anaheim Ducks money line is our full game side pick. The Blue Jackets have gone over in 10 of their last 14 games when playing on 0 days rest, and have gone over in 10 of their last 14 against Western Conference opponents. In fact, all major trends point to the over for Columbus. Anaheim has gone over in 4 of their last 6 games and 5 of their last 7 against Eastern Conference opponents. Columbus has been in the bottom 5 in goals allowed per game throughout the season and will now be using a backup goaltender in net. Even their defensive skating in front of him will be fatigued after their game just 24 hours prior. The Ducks' goaltending has not been anything to write home about either. They're now officially in the bottom 10, allowing 3.21 goals per game. Blue Jacket Patrick Lane and Duck Troy Terry should lead the way for plenty of goals in this matchup. This is a surprising total considering that neither of these teams is getting very good goaltending. They rank in the bottom 3rd in the NHL in goals allowed per game and have enough offensive scoring punch to push this game total. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.